It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K. Welcome to another edition of rAVe TV, the industry's only live TV show. As you may know, if you're a regular watcher, we come on live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And we restream this broadcast same day, Wednesday at noon. The reason why we do that, by the way, is so our European viewers have a chance to see the show in the middle of the day. It's either 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., depending on if you're in the UK or EMEA. And then when we restream at 9 a.m., it gives our West Coast in the United States viewers a chance to see us and our show linearly, just like we presented it. So this is a live TV show presented by rAVe Pubs. If you don't know who rAVe Pubs is, then I don't know why you're here. But anyway, if you are in the AV industry, I appreciate you joining me. And of course, you can see all of our episodes. We've been doing the show for over 3 years now, I think it is, or something like that. Maybe it's 2.5 years. And we come to you live at ravepubs.com, youtube.com/ravepubs. We come to you live also on X and on Facebook and all the other places that you probably want to see a show like this. So thanks for joining us and appreciate the support that you're giving us. I want to thank our sponsors, Legrand, Shore, and Aver. They make this show happen, and we'll have little snippets from them as we move along the show. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing really well. It's been a very interesting week. I've been spending a lot of time watching the Olympics, as many of you have. Now, it's interesting when you're an AV person and you watch the Olympics, you tend to watch different things than other people. Like I am watching some of the events, but I'm definitely more intrigued by the technology. The opening ceremonies, not so good. Not a great show. It's getting. I'm not going to go as far as the internet to all the memes that have been bashing the thing. I feel bad for the people that spent anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 to see it live. It was way too slow. It was the different countries were too far apart, so it wasn't exciting to watch them march in. I think it just didn't have the oomph that I think they thought it would have, going across the Seine and bringing everybody in across the river. I think it should have moved a little bit faster. And I think the technology, for those that were there viewing it live, they were really disappointed in the size of the LEDs that were there and the perspectives that you could get. They could have taken advantage of that and made that really impressive. But the venue technology has been amazing. Everything from LED to projection to all of the other display technologies and all the AV over IP technologies. I'm very excited to see this stuff in 8K one day when we see that content. Hopefully someone will bring it to Cedia. Maybe Panasonic will bring it to Cedia since they're running the broadcast center. Speaking of Panasonic, this news isn't on our website yet, but everyone is reporting today that Panasonic sold 80% of their business, and they're wondering why they sold 80% of the projector business and kept the other 20%. Well, if you go back and look at the history of Panasonic, every business they've sold over the last decade, they've sold 80% and kept 20%, which is a smart investment, just in case it still pays off. I think it's a smart move. We'll report all that on our website today at ravepubs.com. And we have some in-person shows coming up that we want to tell you about. We will obviously be at the Cedia Expo in 2024, which, as you may know, happens in Denver, Colorado. Now they've got a contract with Denver. That's a great place to have a show. There's not a lot of West Coast shows that are not in Vegas, and there's not a lot of shows in our industry in the fall. So we'll be there. We want to see you there. It's the first week of September. And at the same time, they will have the Commercial Integrator Expo. And we're going to cover both. We're going to bring videographers and reporters to cover both shows. And, we'll do the regular videos that we do. So for those of you who are not going to the show, don't worry. We got you covered. You can go to ravepubs.com and you'll see a banner that'll be right there on the top that'll tell you how to go to see all the videos and all the news that we report for Cedia and CX. In the meantime, you can go to ravepubs.com/Cedia and go to ravepubs.com/CIX and see that news now. If you're interested, of course, you can always do a search on our website. And I think we may have some a video we want to show you that I think some really cool content. I think it's an interview that Steph did about CIX. For those of you who don't know about CIX, maybe it's something like that. I don't know. It's real quick, but I'm gonna play this right now because I didn't get a chance to look at it before the broadcast. But I'm told that since it's in my run of show, that I need to let my producer show this. So let me let her show you this. CD Expo has a built-in audience, 25-year-old audience. Meaning they've been around 25 plus years for CD Expo. I mean, it is the high-end residential event of the year. There is no better residential show that is that's focused on home theaters and smart homes automation, smart building kind of stuff with regard to homes. CIX is newer, and you did something quite interesting last year where you sort of had this dividing line of companies that shared both commercial and home. And then on the other side of that dividing line were a bunch of companies that were on the commercial AV space in kind of unique ways. Let's first start with that. There is a crossover. There is a clear intermingling where high-end residential integrators are moving into doing more small business application stuff and vice versa.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, before we decided to launch Commercial Integrator Expo last year, co-located with CD Expo on the same show floor and adding a content program together, we're kind of responding to the market, right? During the pandemic and even before the pandemic, there's been commercial products that have been used in high-end residential and light commercial settings. And nearly 50% of the CD Expo attendees do some type of commercial work, right? Yeah. And so, large brands at the show, for years, Legrand, Sony, Samsung, Crestron, they've been showing commercial product alongside residential products. So we said, hey, we need to address this, and the whole work from home phenomenon and hybrid workspaces, and kind of accelerate it out of the pandemic, this kind of a more homogenation between the commercial side and the residential side, or resi-mercial, as we've called it. And so, we launched the CIX show last year, had great success. The aisles were super busy, a lot of interest there. And, most of those exhibitors came back again this year. We've added a bunch of new ones. So we're definitely growing and having a big show this year than we had last year.
I remember doing that interview. I just didn't know that's what they were going to show. It wasn't, and that's my fault because I got on too late to review the run of show completely. But that was my interview with Jason McGraw. You guys might recognize Jason McGraw. He ran Infocom for many years, and he's in charge of this kind of fun. He's in charge of this kind of fun thing going on over at CIX. It's a different kind of show. It's it's not anything like Infocom. It's not trying to be an Infocom. It's trying to really pull from the residential integrators that are doing light commercial and the light commercial integrators that are doing residential. There's that merge in between. So for example, a residential integrator that's doing bars and restaurants is a perfect example of somebody who might want to come to the CIX show. So hey, there's one other show I want to talk about. We got the story on our website. The DSE show, which is the industry's only exclusively digital signage show, is happening in December, and we are going to cover that show as well as we have for many years. It is back. It's co-located with LDI, which is a lighting design show. And we're going to cover those shows. And, there's nothing else going on in December. So this is a great, if you're interested in heading over to Vegas, hey, that's actually a good time of year to go to Vegas because it's actually a little cooler. But those shows, if you want to go live, you can go to our website and check that out. The registration is now open for those shows. We'll talk more about those shows as we get closer to those shows, but we want to at least let you know that those are happening. All right, so hey, Luxel is one of those brands that Legrand has had that does networking, right? They're sort of like competing with Netgear, and they for many years only had it in the residential market, and they came out with a commercial grade product. But at Infocom, they introduced a Wi-Fi 6 4x4 router and access point. It's a multi-gig indoor access point. Can't be mounted outside, just indoor access point. And I want you to check this video out on it because something that we should be adding. We should be doing Wi-Fi. We should be supporting our clients with whatever. We should be technologists, not just AV people. So check this out. I want to introduce you to my special guest, Steph Beckett.
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Nothing like a microphone issue in the morning to really get your
You know what's
heart
weird
racing.
about that is when you have microphone issues and you don't know you have microphone issues, and you can't know you have microphone issues until
someone else
is telling you. Yeah.
tells you. Yeah.
So I want to
was
continue.
testing it.
I definitely want to
Okay.
continue our show. I've missed you, Steph. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, missed
Glad
you
to see
too.
your purple face. But
Thank you.
I want to continue, but before I do, I really want to know about how the 4DX show was, because you saw Twisters in 4DX. We talked about it last week. I think it's the only reason I would go see Twisters. You actually texted me last night, "Hey Gary, it's going to be back in the 4DX theaters. You need to go
I
see it."
did. This is so funny because this is like I tweeted about it and I don't get like a ton of engagement on Twitter, but that tweet did numbers in the AV community.
Really?
So yes, it was amazing. I think 4DX is not necessary for every movie. I think they tried to do the new Deadpool movie with it, and I just don't think that's going to have the same effect. But with Twisters, Gary, for 2 full hours, I was giggling like a schoolgirl. Like it was me, my coworker Jeff, and my coworker Emily, and we all sat there and just like laughed. I had a beer, and I was shaking so bad. The beer was gone. I didn't.
Did you turn
I
off the
took 2
water so
sips.
the water wouldn't spray you?
It's not very much water, so I
Okay.
turned it on because like, why would you go and do this and keep the water off? But it's just like a light mist.
All right.
They don't
Well, I will go
like-
see
yeah.
Twisters in 4DX. If you don't know what that
Please
is,
do.
it's okay. Is the movie in 3D though? Is it a regular movie?
It's a regular movie.
Okay, so 4DX means the chair moves and you get all the smells and tastes and senses that you'd have as if you were sort of in the environment, sort of more immersive.
And every
thing.
time like you'd be in a storm, when lightning would flash, there would be lights in the auditorium that like flashed with it. So it just made it a really, really cool and immersive experience. We had so much fun.
All right, so I want to shout out to my daughter who's watching live, Olivia. Hey, Olivia, I want to say hello
Hey,
to
Olivia.
you. Just say, hey, thanks for watching. In the meantime, this is kind of, usually I don't run research that's not from a research company that's independent. But in this case, it's kind of interesting. And that is that Sony did a study in the UK specifically about whether or not companies would pay for sustainable products. I mean, are they willing to pay the extra money to be sustainable, which is, eco-friendly products? And
which I feel like there is a stigma in the industry of like, no one cares about that. Like no one's going to pay that extra money to have a product that is more sustainable or is built from reused materials and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and 90% of the companies said they would pay as much as 20% more for something that's, hey, look, our broadcast is sustainable because we are completely digital. It goes away when we stop broadcasting. So all of you in the UK that are watching us right now, you are watching a sustainable. We should actually add a little sustainability logo to our show stuff. What do you think?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. I think, and
I think
also
we deserve that. Yeah.
And also like anytime we're done with equipment or like we know that we're not going to use it, I know that we have sold it or donated it instead of putting it in a landfill.
Yeah, we do not put equipment in the landfill unless we have to. We
unless
definitely try to
there's
donate
no bringing it back from the dead. Even then, like I think we've like sold something broken on Facebook Marketplace for like $10 because we're like, here, you take it, you fix it.
Well, it wasn't totally broken. The battery had worn down on this like mega speaker thing, that wireless speaker thing we had, and you had to replace the battery. But in any case, moving on, I thought that was interesting.
We're big sustainable people. We should.
Yeah, we are. All right. So Vivitech came out with a new Novo Connect product, the NCX 500, clearly aimed at Barco. It uses the Launcher Plus buttons like the ClickShare does, but the price point is what's interesting here. $799 in the US, about £600 in the UK. I mean, that's a pretty aggressive price point to compete against the Barco ClickShare. And Barco, of course, has owned that market for a long time. I mean, they have at least a 55% market share still in that category. They used to have, 90%. But yeah, you should check out the product.
I think that when new people are like, not necessarily new, I know the Novo Connect has been around for a while, but when something or a new advancement or a competitive advancement comes in the market, I think that is just, if anything, going to be reason for Barco to continue advancing themselves. So
I mean, Barco, look, I saw something when I was in Belgium that Barco's going to come out with to help meeting equity. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of an interesting way. I can't talk about it yet, but
when can you tell me around when that's gonna happen?
I thought they were going to show it at InfoComm. Apparently they had it in a private suite at InfoComm, but I suspect we'll see it soon.
They wouldn't let us in there, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so Steph, you want to take the new AI based shade and power distribution?
Yeah, in honor of CEDIA coming up in September, I thought it was really cool to highlight this product called the Reactor Power Distribution. So this is AI-based shade control, which I think this is the first company that has anything like this or similar. So this is from Modern Atomics. So one box can drive 22 shades inside a house or potentially a small business. And the company says setup includes an auto programming feature and a copy and paste system. And the PDU is powered with a passive PoE injector or any Somfy 24-volt inline supply. So yeah, and then it's compatible with most things: Screen Innovations, Draper, BTX, Spring Blinds, Alta, tons of them, Graber. So Sunsetter. So definitely check it out. I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited to see this at CEDIA.
All right. I want to show you a video about Shure's Designer 6 system configuration. Now let me set this up. You remember Shure bought Stem Audio. Stem Audio had this pre-configuration software that allowed you to design. You would lay out a room and it would tell you where to put everything, the mic, speakers, everything. All right. So Shure has made that, amped it up quite a bit and made it compatible with their product line. So check this out. This is the Shure Designer 6 system configuration software. It's just 1 minute. Check it out.
Okay, another big story from the past week. This company is one that I'm a big fan of. This company is called Vestaboard. And basically, it's a company that I think takes a lot of inspiration from the train station boards that are in like Europe. But this uses, it's like a message board that displays customizable text and graphics using what it calls a split flap display technology. So now it's combined with its own like sound bar through Next Level Acoustics. And so basically this helps to provide a more engaging message. It can help immerse whoever is reading that. So it's very, very cool. And the soundbar is designed to match the size of Vestaboard's products. So it's really made to be just an immersive experience.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that's like because I don't really know the application for it. But hey, I think the Vestaboard is one of those things that would be cool to have in my kitchen or my living room or something like that.
So they're really popular
like an art piece, right?
Yeah, they're really popular in like people's houses, I think, like just to put it in your foyer or something. But I
Yeah.
think that it's also an application that could be utilized within someone's small business or something if they want to, like a restaurant, if you want to talk about the, the soup of the day, you
Yeah.
can put that up there.
Soup of the
And
day.
I guess the speaker is just to, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't totally know the application type either, but I could see
Maybe
it
to play
potentially-
music, just to make it, kind of,
Yeah.
maybe it makes that noise louder.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't
know
know.
if they're amplifying that noise, but it reminds me of when I was a
They're
kid.
coming to Cedia too, aren't they?
Yes, and when I was a kid, that's how the airline departure and arrival stuff was in international airports, not domestic, but international airports. So I wasn't quite old enough to see it in the domestic, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool. But speaking of Cedia, Kaleidoscape just signed an agreement with Mercury Studios. Now, Kaleidoscape, a lot of so here's the deal. Kaleidoscape doesn't make the servers for digital cinemas, but they do make the servers for the pre-show stuff that happens during in movie theaters and things. And a lot of people use them in their houses to serve up movie content. And you can do first run, movies through this thing because it's got that secure connection to Hollywood. Well, now they've put a deal together with Mercury Studios, and they'll be at CEDIA talking about this, where you can actually take those concerts, like when Coldplay, releases their stuff, and play it in your, and yeah, like them. And I don't know anybody that's your, by the way, I sent you that video. Let me get back. Let me get back on track.
My gosh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you can play these concert videos in theaters, but also in your home if they have a Kaleidoscape server. You're just more content. But I sent Steph a video this past weekend. What was it, Steph?
It was Taylor Swift performing in Munich.
Yeah.
And the venue had a really big hill kind of facing where the artist was performing, but it wasn't like included in the venue. It was just right outside it. And thousands, if not hundreds.
And when I say thousands, when she says thousands, literally, I would say at least 20, 30,000. At least. That is not an exaggeration.
Outside of the venue to sit on this hill and watch her. So I thought
like
that was
a half a mile away to a quarter of a mile away, all the way to the outside of this. I mean, I've seen, few 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10,000 in some of the US venues of fans sitting outside. This was crazy. This was by far, this is like as many people that would fit in a normal concert venue for her. We're watching Taylor Swift from outside. This lady has like set a new standard for immersive shows and performances. Like I don't even know if in my lifetime we'll see anything like it. I mean, she has outsold.
It is so interesting to be alive at the same time as this, because I can't remember from my youth or anything another star that has had this big of a following or has like changed the music industry so much. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think a chunk of people, I don't know the percentage, maybe 20%, are going not knowing what to expect and are having a great experience. And people my age, guys that I know who are taking their daughters, are going and actually really enjoying the concert, even though they really don't know her music, right? Because it's such an immersive, like it goes through different decades or different sections of her life. I shouldn't say decades. She's not old enough to have decades, but it, they call them eras. And so she does a costume change. And what's interesting about that, and if you have not gone, you should go because there's a lot of AV in it. But what's interesting about that, not only do they do a costume change, the concessions change for the era too. So the drinks change. So that's a way for you to sell drinks again and again and again, because it's not the same drinks the whole concert. The drinks change for each quote era that she's singing about, which I think is genius, and the swag. So it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And we talked about this, I think, before months ago. Yeah. But in the advertising world, we're following this just because of how it's disrupted the Super Bowl. Because prior to her, the Super Bowl was the #1 live event to go to any city. That was the thing you wanted to have come to your city. It was going to have a big impact on your economy. Now Taylor Swift is. Taylor Swift beat every single Super Bowl city where she went to. So
She is
pretty
stimulating the economy everywhere.
literally a single-handedly stimulating Scott. Okay, so look, we got to get back to some news. TV One updated their one rack system with two different products. One is a den rail kind of rack. One's a half rack mount product that allows you to replace those wall wart things inside of a. I really like this. The picture we're showing is the one that's rack mountable. They have one that's a rail mountable, and it uses Phoenix connectors to power all the products that use wall warts. I like this because it makes rack design. I think TV One's got some neat sort of like unique products, and I think them buying Green Hippo is genius. Genius. And
very cool company.
Yeah. And we've already told you about Shure. We've already told you about Legrand. The other sponsor we have, rAVe TV, that we really appreciate is rAVe. And rAVe, they are a PTZ, among other things, PTZ camera company. Their Cam 550 has dynamic framing, that thing you need for meeting equity to sort of make it easier for you to have meetings when you have multiple people in the room. That AI feature that allows you to follow people around. It detects motion, detects what's happening in the meeting, and reframes and focuses, keeps participants in focus and reframes them as they're speaking. It's an interesting, simple to use product. You don't have to do any programming to figure out how to use that thing. And rAVe, we have a link on our website. If you scan that QR code, we have a link on our website. It'll take you directly to the Cam 550. Of course, you can always Google Cam 5, and we shot a video of it at Infocom. So if you go to our ravepubs.com/Infocom and then type in rAVe, AVER, you'll see all the videos we shot there. We shot one of that. And so, Steph, what do you think about esports becoming an Olympic sport?
That's crazy. That's true.
Breakdancing, an Olympic sport, esports would be an Olympic sport. Breakdancing doesn't even have the word sport in it. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but for the first time ever, our women's rugby team medaled, and they beat the Australians, who have been dominant in rugby. It just happened a few hours ago. It's a huge upset out there. Kudos to the U.S. women's rugby team. And I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with the French swimmers and how well they're now. Let's be fair. They all swim in the United States, in colleges in the United States, like Texas and Stanford and places like that. But they are representing the country of France. Lyon is doing an amazing job, and I'm excited to see Katie Ledecky swim here in just a few minutes. Olympics have been a lot of fun to watch. But of course, I'm watching all the technology. Fun. And by the way, shame on you for not having a deep enough pool. It's crazy that they're swimming in a 7-foot deep pool. All you have to do, they could have made that pool Murtha is a company that makes all these pools, these pools on site, stadiums and things. They have the ability to make a 9-foot deep pool. That's the specs require 9.5 foot, 3 meter basically pool. And it's like 2 meters. I don't understand. So no one's going to set records. There's hardly any records being set, because when you have a shallow pool, the backwash from all these people moving the same direction, when you do a turn, it's all coming against you rather than being absorbed from the bottom of the pool. The more shallower it is. So then you're going to have, anyway, enough about swimming. It's unfortunate, but esports is now an Olympic sport. And guess what? We are heading into season 2 of the rAVe Esports show. Let's play this.
How are you, sir?
Good, Bubba. How are you?
I'm great, man. Tell me about esports integration and why you're here at Infocom.
Esports integration, we're a full-service AV integration firm. Our parent company is Horizon AVL. We've been building venues, technology, AV venues for higher education, K-12 in the Horizon world, but then esports integration specifically focuses on building esports programs for our K-12 and higher education clients through the lens of industry standards, practices, and curriculum.
What could you do in tandem or with any of these organizations who do AV stuff here at Infocom?
It's really understanding the entire game ecosystem, right? And asking the questions that a lot of AV integrators don't ask when it comes to gaming, just because of the understanding of how gaming works and functions, right? So as we're going through with a lot of these manufacturers, we're asking those really hard questions. What is your refresh rate? Where's the latency? What is the connection points? And so how does that work, and how does that integrate yes, traditional AV, but really how does this fit into the gamer mold? And what are the nuances and differences? And so it's a lot of great conversation with these manufacturers, and it's really eye-opening even for them.
Check out Esports Integration. This is Josh Kell. You definitely want him working with you in any of the college or private or public spaces.
All right, so we have a twice a month esports show that is done live by Bubba Gettert, the guy you just saw interviewing the integrator there. And that is, in a niche, one of the fastest growing segments in our industry right now. There's not a university or college around that's not putting an esports team together. High schools you can't make a lot of money on high schools, but you can support the high schools with your technology and your know-how to help them get up there. And then of course, colleges and universities. Now that's, just in the last 2 weeks, about 8 universities have made it a Division I sport. You're probably going to see 300 schools have it as as a varsity sport over the course of the next 4 years. It's going to be rapidly embraced globally, and a lot of companies in our industry are after this market. Extron and Neutrik are two of our sponsors that do esports. You can watch that show every other Thursday, basically the first and second Thursday and fourth Thursday of every month. Thank you, Carrie. Or you can go watch the replay of that by just going to rAVe.com, rAVe TV, do the drop down, and then you can see the esports show. If you're interested in esports, Bubba is the man. Season 2 starts when? When does season 2 starts? When does that start? Do you have any idea? September, I think sometime in September we'll start season 2. So yeah.
Carrie's going to tell us.
Carrie's going to tell us. First episode for season 2 was last week. So we got to catch up. Steph, we are behind. So I got to watch it.
That was his preview for season 2 episodes. So yeah, you can go watch that. And yeah, the rest will begin to come out this fall. So we're excited to be continuing with Bubba because he's been doing a great job.
Yeah. Love him.
Well, we have a virtual event coming up, and it is one I have not spoken. I don't think we've spoken much about on rAVe TV yet, but it's next week. It's on August 7th at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is rAVe's ProAV symposium. We did one last year as well. So this is kind of like a launch week, but it's kind of a half day of content, just one day. And this is where we talk to different manufacturers, thought leaders, all sorts of people within the industry, have a few different sessions about different things that are really important in ProAV right now. Gary, I'm excited about your session. Yours is all about why USB-C is such a big deal in ProAV. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So that session, I'm going to have obviously. I'm gonna have some brands that are involved in this that do USB-C. The most popular probably is Lightware. They went from being a fiber optic company to being a USB-C company. In addition, thanks to what Jason Torado did in being there, and of course Clint Hoffman's now leading that company. And so they're going to be a big part of this. USB-C has become sort of like the connector of choice because it does everything. Remember, it's got the capability of doing video, audio, control, I/O, but also USB communications, obviously, and network communications across one connector. So you have the ability to pick, have an adapter that kind of pulls all that off. And it can charge back. So therefore, if you have USB and you send the power back, there's a configuration for it to charge your laptop while you're using it, so you don't have to worry about system resources slowing down. We're going to talk about all that, but most importantly, we're going to talk about the future of that, because as we go to an AV over IP world, USB will still be a significant factor. And reason for that is all the devices are now adding USB as an output. And the question is, how much longer will we have HDMI? Will we move to USB even on devices like Apple TVs and Rokus and things like that, and even consumer television? So we'll see. We'll talk about that, but we'll also talk about the impact that it has on high resolution video and control, and of course in UC. So that's what we'll talk about on August 7th at 1 p.m. So make sure that you're a part of that, and sign up now. Scan that QR code and go to launch.com, lavnch.com. If you've got a launch account already, you're probably getting emails about it. Sign up for it, because even if you don't attend a launch event, by signing up, you get access to all the launch content, and it is invaluable content. Look, we gotta go.
I did forget to mention though, Gary, this is important. It is worth 2.5 CTS, CTSD, or CTS IRUs. So that is another incentive for you guys to come. And yes, and worth, every flavor of CTS. So whatever kind of RUs you need, we got you. So yeah, we hope you guys come. It's going to be a great day filled with really fun content. So we appreciate it in advance. And yeah, Gary, we got to, hit the road.
All right. May the force be with you.
Bye everyone. Thanks for watching.
It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.